You got the G-Shock on the wrist, Oakley's on the skull, Jeep Wrangler in the driveway, and German Shepherd on a leash. You're a keyboard warrior to the 3rd Battalion and you don't take no scuff when you're slapping noobs. But you ain't diddly spit till you got a controller that says tactical on the box. Mechanical triggers, 4 back buttons, faceplate that'll scorch your corneas. Let's review this thing as a team. Yeah, she feels good. All right, I'll see you guys back in the game room. As the mailman doesn't directly hand you this controller, it will come in a box, and if you've seen my previous Hex Gaming controller reviews, it comes in the same exact box, except this one says tactical. The box is clearly labeled on the bottom that you do have thumbsticks in there, and indeed you do have a little plastic container that will have 4 additional thumbsticks in addition to the 2 that are already pre-installed on the controller. That is going to be 2 short concaved, 1 long concaved, 2 short domed, and 1 long domed, or convexed if you will. The controller is covered by a white foam bag and then bubble wrap underneath that, and I gotta say this controller does look absolutely stunning. The front faceplate is a soft touch or matte material that is kind of a rubberized texture that does feel better than the standard plastic faceplate. The bumpers and triggers do feel incredibly responsive, and the triggers on this particular model are a 1.5mm quick pull mechanical style switch. You do have 4 buttons on the back that are not mechanical, however they are very tactile and clicky. You will hear me call them paddles throughout the video, however they're technically buttons, and they do ergonomically feel very good, and you are able to cover all 4 of them simultaneously without getting too many accidental actuations of each button. I think Hex Gaming has been making some tremendous strides here recently, as they did just release a 4-paddle PS5 Dual Sense controller, which I cannot wait to get my hands on for review, and now this 4-paddle Xbox Series X controller with a slew of options in their builder. I have to say they do have one of the most advanced and in-depth builders to truly customize a controller to your exact liking for not only performance bolt-ons, but also cosmetic or appearance modification as well. So I did scalp or gut the white thumbsticks off of Ivory over here, which is a Xbox Series S controller that we built on the channel, because I do think cosmetically these white thumbsticks look a whole hell of a lot better than the black ones that for some reason my dumbass ordered this one with. Now, first of all, I want to take just a moment to go ahead and appreciate the cosmetic appearance of this controller. I think it looks absolutely stunning, to be 110% honest. Now, I know I say this about just about every custom and premium controller I own, every limited edition and discontinued controller, but this looks gorgeous, in my opinion. So this little button right here, you're going to go ahead and flip this on. You are going to get a blue LED illuminated. Then you are going to go ahead and press any of the face buttons or D-pad buttons, or L3, R3, basically any of the buttons. And you're going to hold that down first. So say, for example, I want A to this paddle right here, which I do. I'm going to press A, then this paddle right here. That flashed red because guess what? I already have it mapped to that. But if it is successfully mapped, you will get 3 blue flashes and then it will go solid again. When you turn this off, you are no longer in remapping mode. You are now in just regular controller mode. So other than the cosmetic looks, what I really do like about this Hex Gaming controller is, for one, these mechanical triggers here. Very, very short pull. And also, I gotta say, the rumble force or vibration in these, which you can opt to remove in their builder, is actually really intense. And it's weird because I know they're using a standard Xbox Series S and X controller as their baseline, but the vibration is pretty meaty, pretty aggressive. So that's interesting. Now, I do like the swappable thumbsticks. I think that's great. That saves you money because you don't have to opt for something like Control Freaks or some kind of generic add-on caps. Swap them out. It comes with 6 different options. These paddles, really good. So you can cover all 4 of them simultaneously, which is a big pet peeve of mine. Why have a 4-paddle controller, Scuff, looking right at you, sweetheart? Not their new Instinct. That one kind of remedies this, but Scuff's traditional paddle design is simply not good because you cannot comfortably, ergonomically cover all 4 of the paddles. With this one, you can. However, they're a little bit sensitive. I wish they required just a little bit more resistance or force to actuate. And since these aren't really removable, you can pop them off, but the button is still there. So you can still accidentally press the button. And there is no way to actually turn off or deactivate these paddles. So you can't remove them physically, and you cannot deactivate them software-wise, I guess, on the chip. So these are always going to be on. Now, one way around that technically would be if you keep it in remappable mode. Actually, this is kind of a workaround. Now, as you can see, none of the paddles work, But my analog sticks, my face buttons, triggers, bumpers, the controller works as it should. However, if you accidentally hold down one of the face buttons or D-pad and one of the paddles, it's going to remap. But that's kind of a way of turning the paddles off. If you're passing the controller over to a spouse or friend in couch co-op and they hate paddles, they don't like to use them, that you could still use the same controller. But all in all though, I gotta say, this controller does feel incredibly smooth. Just, you know, whipping around here with the R301, one of the best guns in the game here. Just working on a little bit of recoil control and whatnot. This feels phenomenal. Go ahead and put that gun away. There we go. Yeah, she feels good. All right, I'll see you guys back in the game room. So over here at the PC, I want to talk about a couple of options as to where you can buy these controllers, some of the options that I do and do not recommend that you add to the builder when you're speccing one of these out. So you can buy these bad boys on Amazon, and indeed, I will have a link to their Amazon landing page down there in the description below. You do have the Hex Rival over here, which is a 2-paddle PS5 controller, which I have tested and reviewed. You have the Hex Edge, which I have tested and reviewed. You have the Hex Hyper, which I have built from a kit, considering these are based off of extreme rate parts that you can build on your own from a kit. Hex basically does all the assembly and adds a warranty for you and basically tests them and makes sure the fit and finish and all that is squared away. Now, when you purchase these from Amazon, you are limited substantially in the designs offered because you do not have access to their builder where you can really fine tune. I want these thumbsticks with this faceplate and this back shell with trigger stops or without trigger stops. And I want these face buttons. You don't have control over that. You just pick from some of the pre-chosen designs. That looks super sick, that Iron Man one there, which isn't a terrible option. And right now it does look like there's a 5% coupon here as well. But personally, I would recommend purchasing directly from their website. Why? Well, because you have a lot more selection and controllability because you have an actual builder and they do offer free shipping. Granted, through Amazon, you have like another layer of warranty, I guess. You have a 30-day return policy with Amazon, then you should be able to reach out to Hex. But when you buy it directly from Hex, you can deal with them 101 when it comes to warranty and warranty issues, which to me, I would rather skip the middleman of Amazon. And, you know, I hate to say that because I'm a big Amazon fan. I've been using them for almost a decade, but when it comes to controllers, as long as they offer free shipping in a reasonable time, I would rather go directly through the company's website because you have access to the builder to really customize. And when it comes down to warranty issues, as well, these controllers do break sometimes, you can deal directly with the company. I did mention during my review of their PS5 Dual Sense controller that I wish they had a 4-paddle option. Guess what? They do now. So Hex, I will be getting in contact with you for hopefully getting one of these bad boys on the channel to get them in my greasy mitts here to test and pass on my opinion to my audience. But like I mentioned earlier, having the customization of the builder, you are able to add features that if you get these off of Amazon in their pre-built configuration, you simply don't have. Like for example, this one over here has trigger locks that you can turn on and off. This one, mechanical switches that are always like a mouse click. So you can't use this for a racing game or anything because you can't modulate the throttle and brake. As where if you put on trigger stops for shooters, you can turn them on to get that nice short pull for shooting a semi-automatic gun. But when you play a racing game, you can still have full control of the trigger. And especially for PS5 DualSense controllers, all of them that are sold in pre-built configuration on Amazon come with their mechanical switches, which you do not want for a PS5 DualSense unless you are only playing PC games, computer games with it. If you plan on playing PlayStation 5 games with a PlayStation 5 controller, which you probably do, all first-party Sony Studio games are going to have some kind of functionality for the adaptive triggers. They get stiffer or lighter depending on what's going on screen. So, you know, different guns will have different trigger pulls and whatnot. Not to mention it has an actual functional use in certain games like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, where you hit a crisp wall of resistance, then you snap past that breaking point and it activates a second firing mode in a gun. And you simply cannot turn off or remap that in the settings. By getting a PS5 DualSense that has those smart triggers that are just like a little mouse click, that basically makes it almost useless for those games on PS5. That's why I always tell my audience, my viewership, when you're speccing one of these controllers out in the builder, forego or save your money and do not get those smart triggers, unless it's like trigger locks that can be turned on and off. Moving on from that, and as you can see, they do not offer this model on Amazon, but they do on their website, so that is going to be your only option for getting this controller. These all have trigger stops, which is kind of interesting that the model that they sent me doesn't have rubberized grips and trigger stops, as where the model that I was sent for review does not. So that's interesting. I'm not complaining or anything, because this is still a great controller. These are two features that I would like to have in my hand as well. But in their builder over here, let's go ahead and spec one out real quick as a team. So as you can see, they have a pretty in-depth builder. They have a lot of different faceplate designs here. Now, a lot of these are not necessarily unique to their company because they are, you can get faceplates for 15 bucks from Extreme Rate. However, considering these are just attached to their builder and you can get a pre-built controller ready to play with these, it's pretty cool. There's a ton of face buttons, and what I really like about these is they actually have the lettering ABXY instead of just having a completely smooth face button, which a lot of these cheaper companies source. But you can change literally everything. I mean, D-pad wheel, the share buttons, the hex logo, I mean, analog sticks, bumpers. And right here, this is exactly what I was talking about in the builder. You can select standard triggers, trigger stops, which is absolutely what I would have opted for, and I kind of wish that was sent to me for review, but this is the model I have right here. Digital triggers, 1.5 millimeters. Standard, you're looking at about, oh man, off the cusp, I think it's about 4.5 millimeters of pull. Trigger stops over here, you get these nice rubberized grips, and then you have on and off trigger stops, which is cool. Got different back shells here. So a pretty in-depth builder here. I mean, you can even change the colors of the rear paddles or buttons. So all in all, a very, this is hideous. I'm sorry. I'm just clicking buttons over here. This is a hideous controller. Oh boy. But yeah, builder, incredibly in depth. I would recommend going through their website because you can fine tune, pick and choose instead of just having to, well, for one, this model here, you can't even get on Amazon, but the ones you can get, you're stuck with a pre-built selection. If you're already spending this much on a controller, no ma'am. You want to be able to pick and choose and make it custom and unique to your needs. So in my opinion, I gotta say that Hex Gaming, not just this controller, but as an entire controller company right now, I've been watching them from afar. Same thing with Megamod, same things with AIM. Currently, I don't belong to any of these companies. I don't have a direct sponsorship with any of them. I am a part of all of their affiliate or referral programs and whatnot, but I'm blatantly honest about any cons or areas of improvement with these companies, and I do go back and forth with their employees, their representatives, explaining what I think should change. A lot of times these companies actually do listen to content creators because we can kind of act in the capacity of the voice of the gaming community. So I listen to everything that my audience of about 32,000 people says, listen to it, pass that on to these companies, and they make these changes. So when I say things like, wow, this is a great PS5 controller, wish it had 2 more paddles on the back, and a couple months later, it pops up. It's almost as if they're listening to the gaming community and making changes. And I gotta say, Hex is really doing that. They have done some amazing strides here recently with their Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 controllers. And keep in mind, maybe you're stuck on a PS4 or a Xbox One. These new consoles ain't easy to get. They still offer a wide variety of PS4 and Xbox One controllers. Link to their Amazon page as well as their website builder in the description below, as well as any discount or coupon codes that I could scrounge up for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, liking it will help it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well. Maybe they're in the market for a new premium controller. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover a metric shit ton of gaming peripheral reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, etc. I'll see you tomorrow as I upload daily. Whether that's on my Facebook gaming page or my YouTube channel, you should probably follow me on both. Catch the hotness as it drops. Peace.